Good evening. I want to apologize for the sound quality of this video. I've already heard part of it, and I don't think my speakers or my microphone's working particularly good, so you'll have to bear with me. But I want to show you a little something that we did as an experiment with a certain crew loadout for Armadas. As you can see here, I've got a level 39 Federation outpost. And we have an Armada of 4 players, all in augers. This is me up here at the top. I was the leader of this particular Armada. We had 3 other players. You can see we all are running augers, all about the same strength, or thereabouts, between 3 and 4 million strength. I'm going to show you quickly what a brief look at the battle log looks like. The standard battle log, it lasted 17 rounds, 13,800,000 to the 27 million for the strength of the outpost. I'm going to show you what the crews look like here in a moment. This is my crew. I was running Picard, Beverly, and Kira Nerys. And this person, who goes by the name of Roundabout, was running Riker, Beverly. Beverly was at 200%, and 6 of 11 was at 20%, so it was 20% of attack added to penetration. Next we had Critical Pig. He's running Morale Crew with Geordie LaForge for extra loot. And the last guy, Gimlot, was running the same basic crew as Roundabout, except that his 6 of 11 is only at 10%, and Beverly is only at 150. So those are the 4 crews. I'm going to show you real quickly what the battle log looks like, just to show you what I've done here. And I've already exported the battle log to a file here. And there's the file. I've hidden some of the stuff, and I've added something called mitigation percentage. This is how much damage the target, in this case the Federation outpost, is ignoring. In other words, this is the damage that does absolutely nothing that we've done. And to show you that it's working, I've actually sorted this so that only the players are at the top of this list. For example, right here, the 111 is total damage and 68 is mitigated. If I switch back to this, 111,813 is right here. The 65,168 is right there. There's a 65,168 and the 111,813. That was the damage in the first part of the log for the Armada. As you can see, I don't have the numbers for the Federation outpost. If I wanted to, I could scroll down. And here is where the Federation outpost was actually hitting us. Like for example, right here, the very first shot by the Federation outpost was the attacker of the Armada. That should be the yes, but apparently it doesn't. But the attacker name is Federation outpost. Oh, that's the target name. Okay, is attacker Armada? I don't know why that says no. But there it's this was the first shot taken by the Federation outpost. 234 total damage, and the mitigated damage was 110, and critical was the one that got hit with that. And if you look up here, 253, 144, and 110, 603, this was critical that got hit. So you can see that those numbers line up with what happened here. 253,000, 253,000, and 110,000 mitigated. So this is in fact the actual log from that particular battle. Now I'm going to show you something about this mitigation damage that is rather curious. Here we have round 1, as you can see right here in these numbers. In round 1, it's me, Roundabout, Critical, and Gimlot. Keep in mind, Roundabout and Gimlet have 6 of 11. Rounds is a little bit higher level than Gims is. CP's got the Morale Crew with Jordy, and I'm running Kira Nerys with Picard Beverly. And I'm Mishra right here. And here's the mitigation numbers. This is the total damage that the Armada didn't take. This basically is damage that does nothing. Here you've got shield damage. I've got these numbers scrunched up to try to fit them all on the screen. Let me expand that out a little bit. Here's the hull damage. Here's the shield damage. And here's the mitigation percentage. Now, because we have Kira Nerys is supposed to subtract 13% of my attack. Now, I can't show it to you right now. Let me see if I can pull up. Let's go ahead and pull up my ship here. Let's see if I can find it here. Let me move my thing here. I'm going to show you here are my attack officers down below. I got 20,000 attack. So that's the number that affects Kira Nerys. Which is 13% of attack every time you hit it with a weapon. So it's 13% of attack. And the attack is 20,101. We probably won't need this screen anymore, so I'm going to pull this back up. So that's what we're working with. And again, here's the very first round. Mitigation number is anywhere from 58 to 61%. And this is the beginning of the fight, round 1. And this is particularly normal. And as we scroll down a little bit, here round 2, you've noticed already the numbers are starting to drop a little bit. 57, 58. When we go down to round 3, already you're starting to see something different here. Roundabout's already down to 53% mitigation. This is because of 6 of 11. Gimlet's actually dropped a couple percentages as well because of 6 of 11. Me and Critical are around 50%. We're going to scroll on down a little bit to about round 6. About round 6, I'm still mitigating about 56%. Or in other words, the target is mitigating 56% of my damage. So I'm mitigating 32% of Roundabout's damage because he's got the 20% 6 of 11. Gimlet has actually surpassed us. He's now longer in the 60s. He's down below both me and Critical because he has a 10% 6 of 11 working. And as we scroll down a little further, it's about round 9, 55% for me, 22% for Roundabout with the really big 6 of 11, 39% for Gim. But now we start to see some interesting changes in the numbers. Here at round 10, at the beginning of round 10, 54.6% is the mitigation for my ship. Then it drops to 53. Now it drops to about 52.7. Now it drops to 50.8. We've gone from 52 to 50 within the same round. Roundabout's down to 18.5%. Gim is down to 26.7%. And even Critical is down 52%. Now we go from 50% to about 48%. 18, 49, and 24. The numbers are dropping very precipitously. In round 12, we go to 44%, down to 39%. That's a 5% drop within the same round. That is probably the biggest drop within the round, within the entire fight. It was right here in that particular round in the middle of the fight. Mitigation dropped from 44 to 39%, and basically the same from one shot to the next, basically. Gim is down to 21%, and even my associate Critical here is at 40, and we got 17% for round. Come a little further down, we're at beginning around 14, we're at 23% for me. Roundabouts at 15.9, critical 24, and game is at 17.5. Then it drops to 18%, down from 23 to 18. Another 5% drop. All probably because of Cure Nerys, and also the fact that possibly because I've got Picard and Beverly working together to provide a 120% boost to that 13%. So that could be having a major effect as well. We're at 18, 15, 19, and 16 for the percentages for the 4 players. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. In round 15, my mitigation is now less than rounds is. Only 11% of my damage is getting mitigated. 15% of Roundabout's damage is getting mitigated, even though he's got a 20%, 6 of 11. Critical is getting 11% mitigated, and Gimelot, who's got the smaller of the two 6 of 11s, is getting better than the guy who had the 20%er. I'm not quite sure what kind of math this is or how these numbers are calculated or what, and I'm assuming these numbers are correct. I don't know if they're accurate or not, to be honest with you. We just assume that they are because that's what the computer system tells us it is. Now we're down to 9%, 14%, 9%, and 13%. This is in round 15. In round 16, it dropped to 7% for me and critical, 14.5% for a round, and 13%, 12.9% if you prefer, for Gimelot. And then at round 17, 6% and 14%, and that's as far as the round lasted. At this point, the Armada was destroyed. This is a rather interesting scenario for the use of Cure Nerys. Now, we've tried to use Cure Nerys earlier on a level 39. This was a couple days ago. We used it on a level 39 Cardassian Armada. We had the lead player using Picard, Beverly, and Galia. And what that did was reduce the crit damage down to no more than a normal shot. In other words, the Armada, it was a 39 Cardassian Armada. It was hitting out criticals, but the critical damage was the same as a normal shot. There was no additional bonus for the critical damage. That's how much Galia had helped. But the effect of Cure Nerys, and there was 2 players in that 6-player Armada that had Cure Nerys, there was no obvious difference in the mitigated damage. We also ran this for a Armada that was an Eclipse Armada, and she didn't do very much in that one because Cure Nerys, the mitigation was already below 20% for the Eclipse Armada, and as a result, it was probably no better than the with or without her, because there was no significant change in the strength of the Armada at that time or in the amount of damage that was being mitigated. I apologize if I look like I'm not looking at the camera because I'm trying to watch my screen while I'm doing this. But that's the results. This is the use of Kira with Picard and Beverly. We did a pretty good job of taking down a 39 Federation outpost with 4 players, about a little over half of the strength of the Armada, and with very little damage taken. We actually did 2 of these back to back, and I believe this was the second one. But that's the story, and that's the mitigation numbers for Akira. So obviously she's working. Now she doesn't work necessarily in every situation. Obviously it's a 13%, has to be a 13% of your attack, and depends on how much mitigation you have compared to the other targets. There's a lot of little factors that goes into it. As you can tell from the fact that Roundabout was doing better than anybody else initially, and then was doing worse than everybody else by the end of the round. We're not quite sure how the math works out to cause that to happen, but that's what ended up happening. That's what ended up happening. So thank you very much for watching the video. Share this with your friends at Star Trek Fleet Command, and Perhaps I'll put out another one.